So we were talking about the Galaga arcade machine game the other day on my last video, and I was looking at maybe putting in a 60-in-1 game arcade board. It's just a Chinese made board that has 60 different games, knockoff games I guess. I don't know if they're how accurate they are or if they're direct knockoff. Maybe they're like a MAME type of knockoff, I don't know. Don't know much about them, but anyway, I thought I'd do a bit of looking around online, and I come across actually an original, well, is it original or not? But it's an arcade board with, it's a wife pulling up in the car. Sprung. Yeah, so it's they call it a bootleg board. So I don't know if they are original or what they are, but the sun's going to come over now and find out what I'm doing. So I'm going to pause this and I'll get back to you.
Hello, see ya.
See, I told you he'd want to be in the video, didn't I?
Yeah. See ya.
Anyway. So I went online and had a look at what there was available, and I found out what the connector is for that game arcade is called. It's a JAMMA. I couldn't remember what it was called the other day. So I ordered a JAMMA harness, a wiring harness suited for that machine. And I've come across this Galaga bootleg board, but it doesn't use a JAMMA connector, it uses an adapter, but it had the adapter with it, so I thought, you beauty, I'll go with that. Being a bootleg board, even though it's like a full version of the arcade boards that come out, and it's around the same era, as in time frame, I don't know what bootleg, maybe they were a knockoff on them, of the game boards, I'm not sure. So maybe it's the original knockoff, not like the 60-in-1 type of knockoffs. But anyway, we'll find out when we open up the mailbag. So I ordered also a power supply to run on that arcade machine. And I did actually get the 60-in-1 board as well, because I wanted to see what that was like in regards to game quality. And I'm almost thinking that the original game board that was in this arcade machine might have been a bootleg board, because there's no artwork or anything like that on the machine, so maybe it was a bootleg game, I don't know. And I also ordered, did I say I ordered the power supply? I can't remember if I ordered the video monitor. I ordered a video monitor converter board that converts the RGB and sync lines from the original bootleg board that would have gone into a normal monitor on those arcade machines. It converts it to a VGA standard, and it has all different controls and that. So that way I can put an LCD monitor in the actual game machine, and I've got an LCD monitor over there. I can plug that in and test it all, I guess. But it's not the monitor I'm going to use, because I need a bigger monitor, but it has to be not widescreen. Unfortunately, it's a widescreen monitor, so yeah, I'm still looking for a sizable monitor to suit that cabinet. Anyway, let's have a look at what I've got. What have we got here? I've got them fairly packed well. No complaints about the packing. Here we go. Oh, okay, so this is the 60-in-1 board, I think. Oh no, this is the VGA to RGB, or RGB is it? Yeah, RGB to, no, this is the 60-in-1. Sorry, correction. Yeah, this is a 60 to 1 game board. So, all the different games are listed here. Sorry, I'm going sideways. Okay, so that's your jumper settings for, you know, how many lives, extra lives at different score levels, difficulties. So it's got Galaga there, your settings. Gallag, Dig Dug. It's got most of the common games. Has it got Pac-Man? Surely it'd have Pac-Man. Mr. Doo's Castle. Scramble. Scramble's not a bad game. I don't mind that one. 1943. Pac-Man Plus. Didn't see Pac-Man there. Maybe it was at the front. Yeah, Miss Pac-Man. Anyway, not to worry. So, yeah, that's supposedly the 60-in-1 games on that one. I'll have a look at that later. Look at that. The next parcel. Pretty well taped up well. Taped well, all right. This looks like it might be the JAMMA cable, loom. Ah, yes. This is the JAMMA wiring loom. Has all the connections. That's your RGB plus sync. And your power supply connections, speaker connections, joystick connections, coin slot connections, all in there. All right, so that's that one. Move that out of the way. This one might be the video converter card. This one's probably the least packed well. It's not a lot of padding in it. What have we got? Ah, yes, yeah. This is the VGA adapter board. So your your sync and your RGB lines come in here. And so that's your in, and your VGA comes out here, so you can go into a standard monitor. All right. And there's the cables that come with it. Power. Oh yes, and you can actually use this connector up here if you want to. Go into the game board instead of using the connector here, which is in the JAMMA loom. So that's your loom off the JAMMA loom. That should connect into there. So that comes straight off the standard loom. All right, next. Now this feels like the power supply. So this should be a 5 volt, 12 volt power supply for an arcade machine. It's just a standard arcade machine. So it's got 12 volts plus, 5 volts negative and 5 volts positive. So that's just a standard power supply, and you've got a voltage adjustment up here too to get that finite voltage. Now this is the bootleg arcade game. Should be Galaga. Have a look at how many stamps he's used. All these stamps here. There's about $18 worth of stamps. I don't know why you just wouldn't get a shipping label for the amount that you need. Anyway, someone else's address is on there. Get rid of that. Righto. Well, it's packed reasonably well. Yes, and hang on, so you can see that. Just here. Here's our adapter board to go from the bootleg card to a JAMMA card, or JAMMA connector. And the way he's packed that seems to be reasonably well. He's got a bit of foam packing around there to stop it from being damaged. There we go. There we go, original arcade bootleg Galaga board. So we have a bit of fun getting our Galaga machine going again. Alright, so we've got our power supply connected up to AC, and we're going to test that the voltages 5 volts and the 12 volt rail are accurate. And we'll just do that by putting our multimeter in DC mode. Ground is our black wire, and 5 volts will be our red wire plus volt. And we've got 5.08, and we'll go 12, and we have 12.05. So that's pretty close. That's not bad. We'll leave it at that, I think. All right. So okay, I found the 60-in-1 manual actually has the JAMMA wire map with the pin outs of what the pins do, so we can use that for the colours for our wiring to work out what connects up to the power supply here. And we'll test the JAMMA cable with the 60-in-1 game that's in here before I put it on the main Galaga board, which has this adapter here. And I just had a quick look at that adapter, and the adapter is set for JAMMA, and it actually says on it JAMMA, so that will work with a JAMMA cable. Well, here's something interesting. I've just connected the power supply up for the video converter, and it says 5 volts, 12 volts. I'm guessing it can handle up to 12 volts. Or does that mean this connection's 5 volts and this connection's 12 volts? Who knows, there's no instructions with this thing. But the loom plugs in, and it says negative volts on the red wire and positive volts on the black wire. You can see that? And I've just checked with the multimeter, and also looking at the back here, you can see that the negative, which is the red wire, is on the ground plane, and the capacitors, the negative side of the capacitors, are on the ground plane. So Why have they done that? Are they trying to confuse people? Red is negative, black is positive. Go figure. Just as well I checked before I powered it up. So I'm going to have to swap these wires around. And yeah, hope it works. The quality doesn't seem to be too good by the look of it. Because why would you stuff that up? Am I missing something? I don't think I'm missing anything. Anyway, we'll swap these around. Red is negative. Black is 5 volts positive. According to the PC, the printed circuit board. Alright, let's power this up and see what happens. I think there's an LED here. It should light up. Let's see what it does. Okay, well, we've got a light on. Let's hook a monitor up and see what happens. Alright, we've got a monitor connected to the converter card now. So let's see what happens when we power it up and see if the monitor works. Alright, power's on, 5 volts going in. We've got anything on our monitor. Chinese writing. What's to start? Oh, I should be able to use the menus on this board. Okay, so that's obviously made it English. Maybe it needs a signal from the RGB. Might need a signal on the RGB. So I press this button here, it changes the English text, Chinese text. So, alright, I guess the next thing is to connect up the 60-in-1 game and see if we get anything out of that. Now with this 60-in-1 game, it also has a VGA connector on it as well, so you could just run a monitor straight off it, but I want to try and get it all to run off the JAMMA cable wiring loom. So I've worked out most of the wiring here on the JAMMA card, following the wire mapping here. So I've worked out the speaker wires, and these cables down here go to the joystick controls and power buttons. So they're down there. And our yellow wire is our 12 volts. Our black wire is our ground, and our red wire is 5 volts on the JAMMA card. I've already explained about the converter. Yeah, so let's power it up and see what happens. We've got some LEDs happening and the monitor's come alive. Let's have a look at that. And it's designed to be in an upright machine, so the monitor's sideways. But that's alright. We'll just do this for testing purposes. So it's utilising. Don't know how long it goes like this for. At least we're getting something out of it, I guess. Can we change anything on here now? Up scale, down scale, yeah, oh yeah. Move up and down, right, left. Okay, the speaker works. It's just to happen. Different functions. Right, okay, that got it going. That's right. That's left. Don't know which one's a fire yet. That one. There's a fire. I'm just trying. Anyway, you get the idea. Seems to work. I should hook the bootleg. Let's just turn this off. Oh. Yeah, I should hook the bootleg board up and see what happens. Am I game enough to do that? Yeah, let's try it. Now, one thing I've just noticed when I've connected this board up to the JAMMA connector, there's this bodge wire here. It's going to ground. I'd say it must have been soldered to there. I don't know why they've noted that, because doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the trace. Yeah, well, anyway, let's power this thing up and see what happens. See if I can get the monitor in the shot as well. Right. There goes nothing. Does that mean it's working? Let's see if I can get a coin up. Where's my cable? This one should be credits. No. Which one's my credit? None of those. Oh, just hang on, I'll have to work this out. Alright, I think I've got this thing worked out. The green wire here, this green wire here, is our coin mech wire. So we should be able to get it to coin up. Yep. Let's see if I can get this to play now. Which one's our play wire? This is left and right. Yep. So the colours are a bit funny on this. Fire, which one's fire? One of these is fire, that one. Got me, because I can't control it very well. Slightly off, but that's probably got to change the settings. I think it's these settings here. These ones here changes it. Can't get it to go on there. There we go. Yeah, see that changes the colours. You have to put it into test mode, get the test pattern up. Anyway, it's working. Well, thanks for watching, if you're still watching this far into the video, and catch you on the next one. Probably next time we'll be putting the board, all of the boards and everything into the cabinet. I'll probably give the cabinet a bit of a clean out too. So anyway, if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye.